I've spent the past 30 years figuring out what I'm going to share with you in the next 10 minutes that hopefully will save you some time, frustration, and suffering. Have you ever found yourself getting fixated on things that would make you feel more successful or worthy, like career achievements, money, fame, or having a perfect body? But underneath there was a niggling nudge that what your heart is truly yearning for is something much more simple and much more internally sourced. Hi, my name is Prema, and welcome to my channel. When I was in my teens and my 20s, I was fascinated with the Hollywood world that I saw on TV. And I wondered to myself if those people really had things figured out and were truly as happy and thriving as I imagined that they were. So in my early 20s, I moved to Los Angeles and I started doing TV commercials and music videos and doing some modeling. And I ended up at a lot of events and parties and gatherings with a lot of the people that I had seen on television and in the movies, people that I looked up to. At that time in my life, I was also drinking and using recreational drugs on the weekends, and I was dieting all the time. My life felt like a ticking time bomb, and I knew the lifestyle that I was living was not sustainable. After a couple of years of living in this world, I came to the realization that the happiness and fulfillment that I was looking for was not to be found there. I realized that everything I had built my life around was not serving me, and that I needed to start my life all over again. I needed to let my true, authentic self start leading the way and let go of the masks that I had been wearing for so long in an effort to prove my worthiness and my deservability. Have you ever found yourself in a situation like that? I ended up having a spiritual awakening and giving away all of my possessions until I only had the clothes on my back. I threw my modeling portfolio in the recycle bin, and I set off on a long journey of deep self-discovery. This was the time in my life when I really discovered firsthand that the media may try to tell you that you're not good enough, not beautiful enough, not perfect enough. But you get to take your power back and let the light of your heart guide your path. Deep down, you'll always know when you're hurting yourself and when you're abandoning yourself. And every day is a new opportunity to course correct and make choices that will lead you towards a more authentic path that is true for you and your heart. As I stopped using alcohol and recreational drugs and eventually stopped emotionally eating, I got to feel all of the unfelt emotions that were underneath my numbing behaviors. The grief, the pain, and even sometimes despair. During this time, I never chose to go to a psychologist, but I did find a lot of amazing mentors that really helped me along my path. Had I gone to a psychologist back in those days, I might have received a diagnosis of depression or anxiety. But one of the things my inner guidance always told me was to be really mindful of the labels I might take on. What I discovered along my journey that I know firsthand is that depression and anxiety can be healable. And I know this because I've healed them myself through many wonderful modalities like nervous system regulation work, somatics, brain retraining, plant medicine, and most importantly of all, living with wonderful, supportive, and loving community close to nature. Along my path, I also discovered that forgiveness is one of the most important things that we came to this planet to learn. And that through forgiveness, we can open up pathways for miracles to unfold that are beyond what we could imagine. Sometimes through forgiveness, we can open up a new chapter of a whole new dynamic of relating with someone. And sometimes the aligned action after forgiving someone is to set healthy boundaries, send them blessings, and go on your separate paths. Each one of us has a deep inner compass inside of us that will give us embodied signals and a gut knowing about which choice is the right one to make in any given situation. And once you learn to get fluent with that inner compass, you can trust it deeply, and it will become one of the guiding lights in your life. Now I live in a beautiful land-based community in Costa Rica where we have community gatherings every week, and I get to go swimming in a waterfalls surrounded by nature. For me, nourishing friendships and timeless moments of true heart connection with people that I feel I can share anything with are one of the things that I've always longed for. I know that each of us has a gift to share and a light to shine, and sometimes it takes a lot of courage to step up and do that. We all have something to share because each one of us has life experience and has learned so much over the course of our lives. One thing I would like to ask you today is, if you knew you were surrounded by love and support from all directions, what courageous leap of faith would you take to step more into alignment with the more beautiful life that your heart knows is possible? Because the truth is that you are surrounded by love and support from all directions. I invite you to really take that in. Eventually, along my path, I began creating online courses and guided meditations that have reached hundreds of thousands of listeners. I was teaching on several apps that were not as well known to the general public, but it was still allowing me the opportunity to reach a wide audience and to be in service in a way that felt really inspiring for me. But when it came time for me to start putting my very personal and vulnerable offerings on platforms like Spotify and YouTube, there were moments where I was terrified because I was still in that same pattern from my 20s, but this time in a different form, looking to what influencers are doing and giving my power away because I didn't want to be judged. Maybe you can relate to this type of self-limiting pattern showing up in your life in one way or another. This is when it really hit home for me that we get to choose to stop living for others' approval, and that we get to be the ones to give ourselves the love, the validation, the acknowledgement, and the acceptance that we've been seeking all along. And we get to do that right now. That quote, "You're not for everyone," comes to mind. We create from our hearts for those that love and are benefited by our offerings, not for those that judge them. I've also learned that what is meant for you will not pass you by. So I invite you to continue leaning into whatever it is that sparks joy for your soul, and trust that by doing so, the aligned collaborators, circumstances, and events will unfold to support you. Along this journey, I discovered that we create our lives from the inside out. We get to bring forth from deep inside of us the beauty and the light of our being, and we get to share that in the world in the ways that we feel the most inspired to do. And if you have sometimes felt that you don't quite belong anywhere, perhaps that's because you are meant to create where you belong. I'd love to hear in the comments below, how do you choose to create where you belong in this world? And which of the things that I shared today spoke the most to you? I would love to hear your reflections. By no means do I have it all figured out. I'm just fumbling along towards my bliss, just like everyone else. I do have one last thing I'd like to share with you today, and that is that one of the ways that you can create a wave of positive energy and momentum in your life is by tuning into all of the things that are working well, all of the things that you are grateful for, and praising them and appreciating them and celebrating them. Doing that will shift your whole energy to one that is more receptive to all of the blessings that are already here and all of the blessings that are on their way. If you found this video helpful or supportive, I would be so grateful if you would subscribe to my channel, like this video, and share it with friends or loved ones who may benefit from hearing this message. Thank you for taking this time to be here with me today. I look forward to seeing you on the next video. In the meantime, I'm sending many blessings and much love your way.